This program is brought to you by Emory University.
I'd like to ask you two related questions. One is, what is the next set of challenges or opportunities or tasks that you see that make sense for India to pursue in relation to these circumstances on the one hand, and perhaps gazing into your crystal ball a little bit, where do you see the next decade going?
Well, it is true that both India and China have slowed down. And part of the reason for the slowdown is the world economy and pressures like the oil prices, etc., such as those. But much of the blame also has to be on the policymakers and the government. It's a self-inflicted, and it's not minor. The fact is that a year or so ago, a year and a half ago, we were at 8.5% growth, looking towards 9.5. And we have come down to 5.5, 6. This is a lot of pain. Now, you'd argue, well, 6.5, my God, when the rest of the world is not even, it would be happy to have 0 or 1% growth. Right. No, India has to grow at 8% because we are at such a low level. We have to get there. And so, and frankly, most people in India don't realize that 1% growth, drop or rise means 1.5 million new jobs or jobs lost when the growth rate. And that 1.5 million jobs support 5 people per job, the 7.5 million people, and they account for 3 indirect jobs that get created. So when an economy drops by 3 percentage points almost, that's a lot of pain. But having said that, I do believe that even, and I won't go into an analysis of what the government has done wrong and why the investment climate has become so negative. Those are definitely connected with the government's incompetence. All I can say is that the fundamentals of the economy are so strong that the investment rate, the savings rate is above 30%. I mean, it had gone up to 37, but above 30% means that you're going to get back to an 8% growth rate, 7.5, 8% growth rate. That's the base case still. And that means for the next couple of decades, India will become a middle-income economy. It will become a middle class, more and more middle class country. But if we don't fix governance, we will fall into the middle income trap, what Latin America was caught in for decades together. You know, both China and India believe that it's their destiny to reach Western standards of living. Well, that's not going to happen. For both, China has to fix its politics, India has to fix its governance for us to get out of the middle income trap that it's approaching. Now, it's still a great success to go from an economy with a very low incomes to a middle income level. So that is there. But the future of India, that's where our energy has to go, is to do the reforms that are required. Now, how do you do them? You have 20 million employees of the state who have got used to certain habits of behavior. And the reforms means they'll have to change those habits. So it's a huge vested interest that you have to take on. And if we are lucky, we would get a strong leader who's also a reformer. A person like Margaret Thatcher, or in England you had Gladstone, Disraeli, in the 19th century, who helped sort of shepherd the reforms in England. And in this context, I feel that none of the political parties in India today are appealing to this aspiring new middle class, which is a third of the country and will become half. Every party treats the voter as a victim. Oh, the Congress party says, oh, you're a victim of liberalization and globalization, and so we have to give you this measure, welfare measure, subsidies, and some form of giveaways. The BJP says, oh, you're a victim of 1,000-year-old Muslim invasion. The Dalit parties, the low-caste party says you're a victim of upper caste discrimination. So everybody talks about being victims. This new dynamic of the country is looking for aspiration. And this is where I feel a market-friendly, secular, liberal party, a classical liberal party, is the right party for India, and for this group of people who are aspirers, who want good governance, who want to do reforms.
The preceding program is copyrighted by Emory University.